Okay. Okay, yeah, it's 9 for 229 at the end of the day's play. Now, it's not a day for cricket. Let's call that out. It's not a day for people that like cricket. It's a day for people that like two-test series. It's a day for people that like their debutants being called Connor Cooperley and the other guy playing his second test match still being called Josh English. It's a day for awkward handshakes between Tom Wilson and Simon Kadich at lunchtime. It's a day for hearing Alex Carey tell Mitchell Starc to dive to save a four, then saying he looks like a spider monkey. It's a day that we learnt that that Marcus Stoinis rather is no longer playing ODI cricket for Australia. And it's a day that we learnt that no one wants to go to Pakistan to go to the fucking Champions Trophy. It's 150 wickets in Asia for Lyon. It's a day for Starc to be the greatest seamer for an away side in Sri Lanka. It's a day for Steve Smith to take the most catches ever for Australia. It's a day for us to confirm that Joel Wilson's just still one of the greatest beers going around. It's a day for Travis Head's new finger celebration. And it's a day for Greg Blewett eating a Maxibon on live television. And it's a day for Smith Optics Australia, where you can use the code FAST for 25% off your order, where you pay only 3/4 of the price of your sunglasses at smithopticsaustralia.com. Pezza, it's not a day for cricket, but it's a slow old day. It was a slow old day today.
Shout out also, he goes, given it was also a day for Simon Kadich to tell a story about Richie Beno presenting him his baggy green cap and saying, "I'm always going to tell you if you play a shit shot." And I've got to say, it sounds awesome coming out of Kadich's mouth, that stuff. I know I double took with the old ears there. But so I guess when you actually pile those things up, it was a hell of a day. It was. I know you say it wasn't a day for cricket, but like, was it a day for just what cricket used to be? I feel like there used to be a lot of those days, man. A lot of those days, just not 9 for 229, day in the dirt, grind. And this was my problem with today. We were promised like a dusty, raging Turner. You know, like we were promised squeaky bums, two teams batting in one day. I liked that Australia lost the toss and had a challenge. A bit of turn early, but ultimately not really. And instead we just got like, Sri Lanka 2s, 3s doing their best on a track pretty conducive to batting. That's gonna break up a little bit later. And Australia just grinding away. Wickets in clumps, ball gets soft. Australia likes a hard ball. It's a hard nation, hard-spirited. And, Kratz gets a couple. It's too quick. And that's it.
Yep, that's pretty much the summation of the day. Like, when I look at the scorecard and it says 9 for 229 Sri Lanka, I was like, oh, that was the entire 90s until Australia just started to go, nah, fuck it. Let's try and break the 300 barrier in a day. And now England do that in the session. It was, I guess, Steve Smith tried some funky stuff. He was proactive. Yeah. I liked that. So there was that. I mean, it wasn't a great day for us to look at a new toy because Cooper Connolly's got this amazing salad. And as much as we want to see a new guy wear a fresh new green hat, I wanted to see more of the salad. He's been picked in the side, I think, as a batter in hindsight, because he's bowled 3 overs, same as Slug. And it was just like the middle session was, it was what cricket actually is. And I have got no interest in watching what cricket actually is. I want Space Jam. I want TikTok. I want fireworks. I want R&B dances. I want chaos. I want to see top of the game stuff. And instead, I'm looking at, just a dreary Sunday afternoon stroll through a suburban park. And that's all well, because that's what it actually is. And it's mostly grim. So, look, a lot has happened, but also...
Yeah, I'm a millennial. Get me out of here. Yeah, Karuna Ratner's 100th test. Don't know if they talked about that enough at the start. So I guess, Smith record, Karuna Ratner, they showed his run. The numbers are good, and I guess he was doing well for a bit. Starc seemed to be pissed off at everybody when he was bowling, which I like. I guess he's got none of his mates around, and then he realises he's the only bloke going to the Champions Trophy as well. So I guess I would be annoyed if I was him. So I guess I liked that. Yeah, Cooper Connolly comes into the side. Travis Head is a preferred bowler to him. So I guess they've removed a spinner on a spinning deck to lengthen the batting because they feel like that's what they need. And I guess it's new toy stuff as well. I mean, it was only a couple of tests ago we were worried about like the old team growing old, and now there's been like 5 debutants in 7 tests. They're transitioning too quickly now. Bailey head on a pike disgrace. I don't like it. No, I got new toy. I like the way it moves. I like that. I like that it comes with Shield final runs pedigree. It comes with, we've seen it in big moments pedigree, but also 0 first class wickets. I like a movement based selection. I like the way he ran and picked up the ball. I like the way he throws it in. For me, it's movement based. Some may say you should probably do more in Sheffield Shield cricket before you receive a baggy green. Not me. Sam Constance has 3 times the first class experience of him. But it's anointed, it's transitions, it's generational, it's this kid looks a good cricketer. Steve Smith also batted 8 when he started, so Connolly might be the greatest batter ever, So there's a lot to look forward to. I like that Sri Lanka flicked Van der Sar, who looked pretty good, and kept the guy who was none for 180. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. And Steve Smith, it was a day for Steve Smith tactical acumen. You changed the bowlers enough. Brought Stark back, got a wicket. Otherwise, it was just ringing a lot of changes and gesticulating a lot. And I just think he's got wonderful tactical acumen. That's how I see it personally.
Absolutely, no question about that. It's really funny with that. I mean, he's of course allowed to get be a better captain with time. Of course, he hasn't done it in a little while. But I honestly, hand on heart, do not remember anyone ever having a conversation when he was actually captain being like, he's a really good tactical captain. I never remember that. It might have happened. Anyway, whatever. He's doing well. Let's talk about Lyon and Kuhnemann bowling forever, Pez. They've bowled 30 overs each. Kuhnemann finishes 2 for 53, Lyon 3 for 78. So of the 90 overs bowled today, they bowled 60 of those. That is, of course, 66.66%. And that's important. Stark bowled 16, Webster 3, Connolly 3, Head 8. It was toil. I mean, I said this on maybe day 1, or no, must have been day 3 or something like that of the first test match, where I couldn't quite figure out if Kuhnemann had bowled well. But I guess I was just trying to get more information, I suppose. But I thought he actually bowled really well. I thought it was really disciplined. What's he going out there for? He's going for 1.76 and over. I mean, Sri Lanka as a whole have gone at their strike rate is 2.54, so it wasn't sort of gripping stuff. Lyon going at 2.6 and over. But Kuhnemann, I thought he was really nice. There was also just a really sharp stumping off Kuhnemann by Carey, which was who was that?
Was it Chandamar?
Yeah, it was Chandamar. It was Chandamar. That's right. And it was fairly simple gloves, relatively speaking, but it was it was a kind of stumping by a wicketkeeper that was aware to that possibility, I suppose. It's just sort of it's a nice curving ball into the mitts, but he's preempting that happening. It's sort of I said this before about Carey being the side because the gloves are so exceptional. I think he's playing at the moment just about as well as he has ever done for Australia, including the gloves, well, probably especially the gloves. Anyway. Lyon and Kuhnemann bowl forever. Lyon's just amazing. He's got 150 wickets in Asia. 150 wickets in Asia in 30 test matches, averaging 29. It's the most ever by someone not from an Asian country. Australia's a good team. And Sri Lanka, I don't know. Can't figure it out.
Yeah, mate, if this pitch, which is a different pitch to the one they used in the first test, if it plays in the same rhythms as the one previously, we all know every game is the same as the one before. But if it does, Australia's going to have a good challenge ahead of it. And I think they may look back on the Sri Lankans played really well either side of that middle session. But Australia took some wickets in clumps. And they might look at that Stark striking late, then Kuhnemann getting one as well, I think, as potentially tipping the match. I think they're going to have a big challenge, Australia, with the bat. We're going to get some good shit happening spin-wise on a dusty deck as the deck progresses. And they might look at today where they just dug in. So I said day in the dirt. Day in the dirt, I think, is when another team hits sort of 500-600. But I mean, like it was just a grind. They stuck with it, discipline. That the functions of like when it gets really difficult is when you start dropping catches or guys drop short too often, or someone's you lose a bowler, they lose their form or their line or length or whatever. No one really did that. Fielder stuck at it, as you said. Carey's gloves good, so that the team just seems to be in a really good space. And Smith did mix it up as well. He also got the funky fields going, the 2 mid wickets, slug, stump to stump stuff. Follow the ball when there's a boundary, and Joe Wilson played his role as well. Enormous daylight between bat and ball. But yelling. How many times can you scream at a senior citizen and get a decision? That's what happens. But anyway, it is also a bit disappointing because it means it's not just limited to Australia. That stuff. So yeah, mate. I thought they did really well to stick at it, Australia, and I think that I still think that what Sri Lanka has is pretty good. I don't think Australia's coming out and making 600. I think Australia could have made many more runs if they had that deck, but that's why it's a good challenge for them. I really see what they're doing in this whole. I think this whole Test series is really, it is like it's India light, and to put it kind of crassly, I was a bit confused with Kratz. And I think a lot of things are coming up good, and I think the thing that's coming up best is Kuhneman with bulk overs into him. I just think the angle's good. I think he lands it really well. So, but bulk overs into him on different kinds of decks in different situations is going to be really good for when we go to India and get smashed.
I think there was lots of moments when the deck sort of played very similarly to the first innings, but of course, we spoke about it earlier in the last Test match, like the amount of runs that Sri Lanka conceded by poor decisions and from poor fielding. Like there was no way that Australia should have scored 650 on that deck, but Australia were also much, much, much more proactive when they were batting. I mean, Sri Lanka just getting bogged down was at 5 for 40 in the 5 for 50 in the middle session there.
4 for 57, yeah.
4 for 57. There we go. Had some numbers which were pretty close to that. They were just treading water, just going absolutely nowhere. You look at how Inglis came in and he played, got the game moving. Smith was very good as well, and Travis Head obviously plays the way he plays. Now that's not going to work out exactly the same, but you just feel like I just completely agree. I think Australia will be much more proactive. They'll look to score it close to 4 and over, I would have thought. And the game's going to accelerate pretty quickly because the wicket will break up. But yeah. I'm going to take this moment, Pez, unless you want to talk about anything else in that innings, to thank our friends at Smith Optics Australia, where you can use the code FAST for 25% off your order. Yeah, that's right. I've got the... now, people have said that this makes me look like an undercover cop at a music festival, and that is something that I like to do. I like to go in undercover police cars and go to festivals and wear these sunglasses and just talk to some people saying how they're feeling, where I can procure certain things, and then arrest them. If anyone's looking for a fun time. Now, I also do that at different places as well, but that's the look that these sunglasses can provide to you. I mean, there's actually many looks that these sunglasses provide to you at Smith Optics Australia, but you can use the code FAST. And you know what I really appreciated today, Pezza? I really appreciated Travis Head's finger celebration. It wasn't the finger and ice celebration. This is hurting me so much. He was almost doing the Ali G, slapping of the index finger onto the other fingers there. Which it was just saying like this is out of control. It's actually too good now. Steve Smith.
But was that like? What do you think was it? What do you think he was meaning with it? Because it wasn't. I'd look to see if it was the Ali G thing, like slapping away. But I think it was fingers too hot, But
right.
Then like someone else wrote, it does the elbow thing mean the taxes? So like, we don't know, but because if you're drawing threads with the last time when he was putting a micro penis into a gaping
a chasm.
No, he was icing the finger. Then it would make sense if the finger gets hot, you have to ice it, right? So that's what I'm thinking. I'm 40 this year. Talking about that.
Could have been also touching tribute to the Finger Bash League. I guess we'll never know. Never know.
We'll never.
Anyway, SmithOpticsAustralia.com. As we're signing off with them for that this summer, in the last few days of the Australian cricket summer, I suppose, as we drift off into the abyss, that being the middle of February. Anyway, use the code FAST, 25% if you order. Pezza, I just want to talk about Sri Lanka's POV. How do you reckon Sri Lanka are going with this? Because it was 1 for 87 at lunch, I think it was. 4 for 57 that middle session you've told me. And then I guess the last two sessions they've scored about 145-ish runs for the loss of 8 wickets over the course of the last two sessions. So, look, it's not great. They're in the game, at least. But I am also thinking that they will bowl out for 150 in the first innings of the first test, maybe 250 in the second innings of the second. And we're looking at something which I think is under par. I think Australia are winning, but how do you reckon Sri Lanka are going?
Oh, mate, I think like the gap between the teams in terms of quality is massive. And I think that winning the toss brings it really close. And I thought we were watching a team just make the most of some pretty helpful conditions, even though the other team's better. Karunaratne gets runs in a big event for him. Chandimal gets runs. They both looked okay. Nobody was able to ask a question of the Australian attack that prompted Smith to really change his plans. Like Smith was so confident that he was trying to get one of the openers off strike. He was trying to get Nasanka off strike so Stark could bowl to Karunaratne in his 100th test. Like, how about that in your 100th test and your final test, it should be said, because he's going to retire. And the opposing captain's like, let's get you on strike. Because, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to give the other guy a single. The fucking disrespect of that. Anyway, so I thought that I thought that they improved their application on the first test. I don't think there were as many dismissals today that were blokes going, well, this game's over and I'm struggling with Australia's aura. I thought they ground hard and what they have done is given their bowlers a platform from which to try and to do some damage, given the deck's going to break up. So I think they're balls deep in the match. That's all they needed to do. I think that their plan has worked. It's relied a lot on the toss. I do think that Australia has more quality than them, but that's not all that matters in Test cricket. Things need to break your way. Australia's had to fight really hard to stay in it. That's how important that toss is to win. I'm pretty loath to talk more about the gap in quality between the teams, because we could be chatting here tomorrow, and Sri Lanka might have gone through them with what can happen with this deck. So I was more interested in talking about Greg Blewett going with the biscuit side first off the maxi bond. Yep. He's entitled to do it. He's seen it for the first time. I mean, let's face it, he's got a lot of lights and cameras in front of him. There's an ad integration, or they're really that bored. And he's looked at it and he's gone, I'm just going to eat it the way I see it. Yep. Now, obviously, there's a structural integrity to the biscuit, which means it should be the last thing eaten, and you don't get the sticky fingers as well. But he doesn't realise that, and he's just eating a maxi bon. And I was happy with how he reacted to it, because I do think it's a high level tier ice cream.
Yeah, and also that's a high tariff play on live television. I've got to say, we've had a couple of touches. We've been put into the field, it's special team style on occasion in a live television situation. Eating a Maxibon for the first time on television, it's a high tariff play. It's a risky play. That could be all down the front. You could get yourself ice cream all over the mouth and the chin region. You can be looking at being asked questions with a mouthful of chocolate and a mouthful of biscuit. Yeah. These are risky plays. But Greg Blewett, he's a man who's done it all. He's tasted it all. He's sucked it all. He's kissed it all. Trophies, piss, baggy greens. Okay. He's done it all, Greg Blewett, and now it's a biscuit. So,
I thought when you were talking about high tariff players, I was like, they might have paid a lot in tariffs to get maxi bonds over there. I don't know if they have them in Sri Lanka. I'm sure they do. Right? You see like stores in other countries. Like, I thought that was Australian. It's like Target in America. Anyway, I'm
not 100% sure they're in Sri Lanka. Are they?
Yeah, well, I thought that's what you meant by the tariffs. And there's a lot of talk about tariffs around the world at the moment. Especially in this Trump world. Can you get a maxi bond to Gaul?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying it's a good integration. Let the boy watch. You've asked me about Sri Lanka, and that's where I've gone with it. So yeah, mate, I thought that their application was much better. I think there's a gap between the teams, and I think that they're balls deep in the game.
100%. I think they could have picked a couple more Mendeses for me, but that's just me. Okay, ask TGC, Pezza. Ryan wrote, and he said, Joel Wilson, father of correct decisions today. Well, he did get one right, but there was also, there was also one where it was overturned, and that's how you know that Joel's in the game. And it just goes to show again. We see Nathan Lyon chatting to Joel Wilson. It just confirms he's just one of the best blokes going around. It's just great, just a great beer. What are we looking at? Can we fuck off this woke leftist Cummins and get Kratz in the captaincy? Thanks. Yeah, it was nice to see. It was nice to see Kratz just started to talk to the batsman when the school teacher was away. That being Pat Cummins, It was just I like that. I like that. Yeah, okay. Just get some of the old stuff back in. Why am I craving a Maxibine? Yep. Are Connor Cooperley and Cooper Connolly the same person? I guess we'll never know. But I feel the striking commentators are having a great series. I ate a gummy at lunch. Who's winning? Good point.
Josh English is good, isn't it? Like, that's just not even trying. That's just like, look, that's how it's rolling out of the tongue. That's what. See you later. That's all it is. And I've got to say, Australians can have no complaints about that when it comes to our enunciations of things. It's an information exchange. Josh English. That's it.
Yeah. We've got loose bus change at bat pad. He bats 3. Constance has been sent home. We've got Connor Cooperley, debutant, and the new wicketkeeper incumbent is Josh English. Yeah, that's how things work here. And Pat Cummings, of course. Hakuna Rajaja said, "What's the correct way to call for George Bailey's head? Hashtag George out, or send the Bales to Wales." Yeah, well,
head on a pipe, Bailey.
Look, there's a lot of pressure on Connor Cooperley, to do something in this Test match because of the success that the previous debutants have had. Of course, Slug. I guess McSweeney's been into the round. Constance, of course, and Joss. So
Hey, shout out to Kratz who got it going reverse. By the way, it's just not something I've seen. It's been a while since I've seen it really go. Like when he does that thing around the wicket, and just probably about 6 years since I've seen it go. Just those conditions when it just You know what I mean? Just when he really gets it to go Irish there. Anyway, it was just good to see. Good memories.
What happened was watching Bridget Jones's Diary. Yes, I believe that was on the main channel. How the fuck are you, Kratz? Is Heaney an A grader? It's an interesting question.
Yeah, that's a different show. Genuinely, can actually say that.
That's a different show. Why doesn't everyone just wear long sleeves when they bowl? Well, that is a very interesting question, and that is something to think about.
I wonder if the team sort of got together in a union style to go, well, let's hide in plain sight.
I thought he got well. Today. That's day one done here in Gaul for the second Test match. Australia probably winning, but who the fuck knows? A real grinding day, but somehow so much still happened. Join us tomorrow. I won't be here tomorrow, but Pezza will be here. So please do join us again at the end of day 2, because you know what? I feel like something insane might happen tomorrow. I think tomorrow's a day where something insane happens. I don't know what it is, but it just might be. See you guys tomorrow. Cheers.